All right, if we want to begin. All right, if we want to start with the introduction of the webinar.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Odile Camilo. I'm the Academic Vice Chancellor, and it's a pleasure to have you all here with us. We're delighted to come together with our colleagues and friends from Western Michigan University to share some ideas and some news about how to continue educational plans for students and families who have been faced with all the changes provoked by this health situation, the pandemic COVID-19. Western Michigan and UNIBE are friends and partners for a number of years now, and we've been very successful putting together dual degree programs, but also study abroad initiatives. And we're excited to see how our collaboration has strengthened during these few months, and we are actually incorporating new programs for our joint portfolio of academic initiatives in order to open more opportunities for Dominican students to go further academic fields and meet their dreams, their educational dreams. So today we have a couple of presentations, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and comment about these plans, these programs, and how we are envisioning putting together new opportunities for all of you. So it's my pleasure, and I'll stay here.
Thank you. My name is Paulo Zagallo Melo, and I am the Associate Provost for Global Education at Western Michigan University. I'd like to thank Vice Chancellor Odile Camilo for the introductory remarks. As she mentioned, Western Michigan University and UNIBE are longtime friends and partners. We have worked on many institutional partnerships and many types of institutional partnerships. And so it is no surprise that today we have here a presentation, the first of this kind, for our friends at UNIBE. We would like to talk about how do you keep the dream of studying in the United States alive during such challenging times. And the idea came out of conversations we've had with UNIBE, that obviously we know that our students and many of our students come from the Dominican Republic. Our students still want to come back, and that new students and prospective students want access to, would like to enjoy the opportunities that this partnership offers. And that's why we're here today, to also talk mainly about those opportunities, and then talk about how they're still in place and they're still very much alive, for sure, and what opportunities do we offer and for students to enjoy this institutional partnership. We have several panelists today to talk about these programs and these partnerships, and I'd like to introduce on the Western Michigan side, we have Dr. Satish Deshpande. He is the Dean of the Hayward College of Business. And we also have Dean Steve Butt. Dr. Steve Butt is the Dean of our College of Engineering and Applied Sciences. And of course, these are two colleges that enroll many of our international students. We also have Lee Ryder, who's the Director of Immigration Compliance for Western Michigan University, and also can offer guidance and help students plan their future programs, especially during this upcoming academic year. Dr. Camilo, would you like to introduce UNIBE's team?
Yes, we have with us Diana Polanco. Diana is the director of the International Business School, the program that has the longest relationship with Western Michigan University in a variety of majors that will enable students interested in different areas to pursue their dual degree possibilities with these two institutions. And we're also joined by Francisco Garcia, who is the director of the Civil Engineering program, which is also a very strong offer that we have together. So it's our pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's not that I don't know them, I just would like to be nice for the UNIBE side to introduce themselves, that I've had the opportunity to visit UNIBE several times and to meet all our three UNIBE representatives on the webinar several times in Santo Domingo. So very glad to see my friends from UNIBE, even if virtually, it's still good to see you and to feel closer to you. We would like to start our panel by talking about the dual degree programs and the transfer curriculum articulations of opportunities we have for UNIBE students to come to Western Michigan. And we're going to start by our collaborations in business administration. So I would hand the virtual mic off to Dr. Deshpande, our Dean of the Hayward College of Business, Western Michigan University.
Thank you, Paulo, and it indeed is a pleasure to be here. I also had a chance to visit UNIBE, and it's nice to see old friends again. And we also have a study abroad program that goes to the Dominican Republic. So every year we have students who go there and interact with students at UNIBE and also meet or look at different companies. So what I want to do is I just want to start off with a little video on the Hayward College of Business. So Hunter, could you just play that video, please?
Oops.
It's a short video which kind of talks about what the Hayward College of Business looks like and what some of the programs that we find at the Hayward
Taking your
College of
first
Business.
steps at the Hayward College of Business isn't about knowing exactly where you're going.
Just go to the PowerPoint
It's about
presentation to do
exploration,
that.
searching for the passion that drives you to change the world. The Hayward College of Business is about limitless experiences. From our nationally recognized programs, ranging from integrated supply management to food and consumer packaged goods marketing to sales and business marketing, the possibilities are endless. It's about the resources to help you go from being a student to a leader. Resources like the Career Center, offering customized
I think you
support.
need to share your screen again, because we see the message that you're going to start to share the content, but it didn't come through.
Okay.
It come through the call.
I'm having trouble sharing my screen for some reason, which I'm not really sure why. Let's try. I apologize for the delay.
Do you have your you have to have your camera on?
We can try that. Yeah, for some reason,
Okay, there we go. Laura just shared it. We had the presentation on, now we don't again.
Let me try one. We don't see the presentation up right now, do we?
No, I see your desktop. I think it's
Laura's desktop.
Laura's desktop, so
Okay.
she will have to play it, yeah.
I'm going to try to share the specific file.
Exactly where you're going. It's about exploration, searching for the passion that drives you to change the
If not, we can just, do the slides, if you can pull that up.
All right, let's see if this works. The movie is right in the slides, so
Okay, then let's play the slides.
there we go. Does everybody see the PowerPoint now?
I don't see it, yeah.
Yes, I can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is not the correct
It's
Okay,
There
file.
you go.
it started now.
This is unfortunately an older file and not the correct one. So,
It's showing on the YouTube, Hunter.
okay, let's try this one. This one should be the most updated one. Here we go. All right, I think let's move on to the fast facts.
Okay, so let me talk a bit about the Hayward College of Business. It is one of the largest business schools in the United States, and it is there are only about 5% of business schools in the world which have AACSB accreditation, so we are one of those. So we have about 4,000 students at the undergraduate level. We have about 17 majors, 15 minors. Many of these programs are nationally ranked programs. So some of the popular programs that students from UNIBE come to us, the accountancy program, the advertising and promotion program, and that's the program where we also have a study abroad program, which comes to DR. The other program, which is very popular, is the food and consumer packaging goods marketing program, and then, of course, the sales program. So these are some of the very popular programs for UNIBE students, and I think that's where the articulations also are. We have our own career center. So if you're looking for a job, we have professional staff in the building, the Zhang Career Center that helps you look for a job, and 94% of our students find full employment or continuing education within 3 months of graduation. And these are companies all over the country. It could be a local company like Kellogg's or something like that, or it could be Volkswagen or GM. So a number of companies. We have a number of internship programs, and one of the things we guarantee is every incoming freshman will have the opportunity to take part in an externship program. So in an externship program, you go to a company, you spend about a week there seeing what people in different professions do. So that's one of the things we guarantee every incoming student to get a flavor of what our students do. So one of the things also I had given out, and hopefully you saw this, is fast facts or points of pride. And every semester we do this, and it kind of shows how well our students do compared to other schools in the United States. So, for example, And this was for spring semester, so this changes every semester. Our ISM program was ranked in the top 10 undergraduate programs by Gartner. Our food marketing students won the national competition. Our digital marketing and e-commerce students won the national competitions. Two of our students were selected for the highly competitive Gilman International Scholarship. So it kind of talks about how active we are and how well our students do when they go up against other students from other schools. So I kind of stop here now. I know it's you may have questions and other things, but this is just to give you a flavor of things we do at the Hayward College of Business.
Thank you, Dr. Deshpande. And I know that the presentation was actually on our live streaming, from what I understand. So
Okay, good.
And I think now like to, oh, there it is.
There it is. I'll be done with that, so yeah.
Now I would like to hear from Dr. Diana Polanco.
Thank you. Again, my name is Diana Polanco, and I'm from the International Business School at UNIBE. It is my pleasure to be here with you. The most important part that you've been hearing today is based on this great partnership that we have together with WMU. The business school, and specifically the BBA program, as our Vice Chancellor mentioned, is probably the most popular one, is when we start to develop all of these partnership. As at this moment, we basically sent our first student in 2016 to WMU, and we've been sending every single year after that. So we're very happy to be here and very happy to have a partnership with such a prestigious university as WMU. One of the things that we want to mention based on the great program features that we offer is based on, like Dr. Sagalo mentioned, is the articulated program that we have together. Why is this important? For anybody, international students or domestic students or anybody looking in order to do a transfer process, this is crucial. Why? Because you know for a fact that everything you taught at UNIBE will be transferred to the American University. In this case, specifically to Western Michigan University. This is why time, it is important. Cost, it is also important. And this is probably one of the major program features that we have. Know for a fact that if you're part of our dual degree, you know for a fact that you will get those 3+1. So that's important for the student, and that's also important for the family. Even at this specific moment, we know for a fact that it is unprecedented, and besides being a health crisis, we know exactly what comes next, which is the economic crisis and everything like that. So it is extremely important to keep thinking about what can I get that it will assure me that I will have a slide in that pie when all of this is over. And continuing your education and making sure you have this diverse, this multicultural engagement and networking with students from all over the world through the virtual engagement or through the face-to-face, hopefully is possible later on when all of this is over. It is definitely one of the great features that we also offer. Another feature that I think it is important is that sometimes you will have a specific dual degrees or something or specific programs that all of the classes are taught in a different language, meaning in this case for the Dominican students in Spanish. What happens with that? Normally that transaction they have to go through one language to another. It could be very difficult for some of the students. So we are the only English taught program, business program in the country. So I think that also it is something additional and it is something very important for the students because you will keep going in the same pace. And we are very happy with, close to 30 students that we have already sent to WMU that we know for a fact that they are within the top 20 percentile when they graduate at WMU, okay? One of the great things about WMU or the programs, besides being nationally ranked, is they're very, very business specific. And that's exactly what the students are looking today. This is exactly what everybody's looking for. Our first student, for example, I always mention this example, with somebody that says, marketing is my route. I know for a fact. But my family comes from the retail perspective. They own supermarkets. They own specific stores like that. So why would I go through the regular path of just getting marketing when I have a precious opportunity to be in a rationally ranked program like food and consumer packaging marketing, which exactly that is what it does, okay? So we actually have that tip of the iceberg with that student. They say that doesn't really matter. This is my choice, and 100%, and I'm 100% sure about that. So that's extremely important. Also, if you think about it, as Dr. Satish mentioned, that advertising and promotion is probably one of our main majors. That's for sure. Also, that takes into consideration that WMU is probably one of the few universities in the United States that actually had advertising and promotion within a business school. Regularly, if you think about it, it goes to a different type of academic program. So also, you're still related to the business. And the most important part is like now more than ever, getting all these abilities that we're given in a dual degree program without getting away from what is local from the Dominican Republic, and also getting that experience into being able to go to the United States and getting that experience and being exposed or eligible to an optional practical training later on. We have so many students doing that, and we have students actually related in great companies, and they say, you know, this was possible because I was part of this dual degree program. So definitely the articulation program, the language per se, the networking with the multicultural diverse background, and the most important part also that the cost and the time that puts into the process, it is definitely valuable tools that we have to take into consideration when we think about a program like that. And so thank you. If you have any questions, I will be here.
Thank you. We talked about one of our most important and one of the main drivers for many of the students for our partnership, which is our collaboration in business administration. But we also have a more recent yet also very fruitful collaboration in engineering. And so I'd like now to invite deans of engineering schools to talk. I'd like to ask Dr. Steve Butler, Dean of the College of Engineering and Applied Science, to give an overview about this collaboration between UNIBE and Western Michigan. And I have to say that I have had the opportunity to visit the School of Engineering at UNIBE, and I was very impressed, definitely very impressed with. So I'm very happy to have this collaboration to develop these new, more recent collaboration with UNIBE.
Okay. Well, I'm very happy to be here as well, and I have not had the opportunity yet to see the campus, but I'm very much looking forward to that. Are there slides? If there's not, I'll do similar to what you did. Doesn't sound like it. So just to give you a quick overview of our college, we are about 6 kilometers away from the campus is from the main campus, but there's a great bus system that actually takes students back and forth between our 2 campuses. It's a large building at the end of a business and technology research park, which is about, I'm going to do this in metric, so 32,000 square meters in terms of our entire 2-wing facility. We house several different programs that I'll speak about in just a second. But the campus itself, where we actually reside, is right in the middle of a business technology research park, which has approximately 42. Some of the co-ops, some of the internships actually happen right in the park, as well as in our local neighborhoods as well. If we think about what those companies are, most of them are in the life sciences. advanced engineering, and we have some IT or information technology in that space as well. So if I look at the programming, right now, our campus, we have 15 different undergraduate programs, including the one that we're going to talk about mainly today, which is civil engineering. But we also have several others that are right behind civil engineering and be ready and prepared to do the dual programs very soon. My background is actually industrial engineering. I've been the chair of industrial engineering for 7 years prior to becoming dean. So I know much about some of the other programs as well as civil and industrial, but be glad to talk and answer any questions along those lines. One of our newest programs we just added, which is completely online, in fact, is cybersecurity at the undergraduate level. So in addition to our ABET accredited, all of our degrees are ABET accredited. In addition to engineering, we also have degrees in engineering design technology, manufacturing engineering technology, and engineering management technology. And then we also, by the name engineering and applied sciences, we also have applied sciences degrees, again in computer science, and then also one in graphic and printing science. Just to give you a little bit more information, we do also have a full gamut of graduate programs. We have 12 master's programs and 7 PhD programs. The reason for bringing those up is because in addition to getting a bachelor's degree, we have the opportunity of going on to an accelerated master's degree. So in your third year, you could actually consider moving forward and finishing up a degree in the master's as well as the bachelor's in a total of 5 years. So it's an accelerated program where you start taking some of your graduate classes in that your third year and fourth year, and then finish up in that 5th year and end up with both the bachelor's and the master's degree. So civil engineer is one of those that actually we can do that in, as well as the industrial, which I brought up as well. In addition, we have a lot of resources for students. We have student success centers, which are on not only our campus, but are also in one of the engineering dorms and on the main campuses, where there's free tutoring, there's free resources for students to actually garner as they kind of walk through. We have an engineering house, which is actually a residence hall set up just for engineering, which again has computers, software, everything associated with what would be needed from the engineering school perspective. If I think about some of the outcomes for our programs, the one thing that I will say is most of our students do get involved in our registered student organization. So everything from our car teams, in civil, it's really the steel bridge and the concrete canoe teams. But we have lots of opportunities for students to actually be involved and often will meet employers through those opportunities as well. So there are opportunities for CPT during this time, and in fact, they could get a one course credit towards their degree by CPT if possible. And right now, if we look at all the students in the college, we're sitting right at now about 80% of our students actually do an internship, and that's all students as we go through. As well as some of the outcomes with employment, we do have opportunities for OPT. And again, I was just looking at the surveys from the 2018-2019 graduates, and when we look at those, 98% of those students actually got the job of their choice. And then the median salary is somewhere in between that $60,000 to $65,000 as you come out of that within the U.S. Domestic population. And then the last thing is when you look at job satisfaction of that survey group, 91% of those students actually were satisfied with that job, and the job actually fit within their degree program. So again, I'd be glad to answer any questions later as well. But again, we're excited about the opportunities and the relationships we now have with our dual degree program. And I assume that those will continue to grow, hopefully all the way through our 15 programs before we're all said and done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also, we have UNIBE, Francisco Garcia, actually engineering at UNIBE when I visited. So if you would mind, give us an overview of school and also our dual degree and curriculum. population programs with West degree. And I hear that the presentation slides are actually on our YouTube channel. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Paulo. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Francisco Garcia. I'm the Director of Civil Engineering School of the Undergraduate Program at UNIBE, as mentioned Paulo. I'm really happy to be here with you, and I'm going to show you some highlights of the dual degree program between UNIBE and Western Michigan. According to the QS ranking 2019, UNIBE has been ranked on the position 136 in Latin America and number 1 in the Dominican Republic. Our dual degree agreement was signed in July 2019, and we are so pleased to announce that Marco are the very first students transferring to Western Michigan will start the spring semesters of 2021. A lot of dual degree students are considering Western Michigan as the first option because based on the attractive package that offer Western Michigan, included a high-ranking university, housing, and cost of living. As you know, in the Dominican Republic, the minimum credit of the engineering career is around 400 credits. In the United States, is around 128. And based on that, we designed the dual degree program, which has 217 credits. 154 must be taken at UNIBE, and at least 53 credits at Western Michigan. We are talking about 69 courses in 12 semesters, 7 at UNIBE and 5 at Western Michigan University. An important highlight is UNIBE and Western Michigan both are accredited institutions. UNIBE is accredited by the Greater Caribbean Regional Engineering Accreditation System, which is a private independent non-profit institution dedicated to ensuring the quality of higher education in engineering in the Caribbean countries. On the other hand, Western Michigan is accredited by ABET. ABET is an accreditation board for engineering and technology. It is also a non-governmental organization that accredits post-secondary education program in applied natural science, computing, and engineering technology. The accreditation of ABET of these programs occur mainly in the United States, but also internationally. Due to Western Michigan is a civil engineering accredited program by ABET, students could take the fundamental engineering exam, which is the first step to becoming the professional licensed engineer in the United States. At the same time, a student could have their professional license in the Dominican Republic throughout the Colegio Dominicano de Ingeniería y Arquitectura y Agrimensores. And throughout the dual degree program, our student could be eligible for doing optional practical training in civil engineering in the United States, which is a great idea. And when they will come back to Dominican Republic, they also have the opportunity of doing internship in working in the Dominican Republic. Another highlight of our dual degree program is the networking. In UNIBE, the students have the opportunity to live a great multicultural experience because we always have students from many countries from Latin America and here, but also students have the opportunity to live in the United States around 1 years and a half. As Diana mentioned before, throughout the dual degree programs, our students can save money because the cost of the program in the Dominican Republic is approximately $20,000 in UNIBE. At Western Michigan is $45,000 approximately. And according to with our agreement, UNIBE students will be eligible for a scholarship based on their GPAs. And finally, we have a testimony for Luis. Luis has been with us for 2 semesters in a row in the current years as international students. And according to Luis, the academic community is integrated by people person, and even he had the opportunity to prepare for the real work demands. We are so happy for having Lois, Alina, and other students from Western Michigan that every year comes to UNIBE. Thank you for your time, and I'll be here if you have any question.
Thank you so much. We all of us at Western have met many students from UNIBE on campus, and it's great to have the students here. We can actually see now on YouTube a statement from Luis, Angel, who spent a semester here, but we've had many students.
Alina.
Yes, and still have many students from UNIBE, and we have opportunities to meet with them on campus every semester. And I've met with some of them back at UNIBE when I visit, which is also very rewarding. Now I'd like to invite our Director of Immigration Compliance, to Lee Ryder, to talk a little bit about how, given all the immigration news that I'm sure you all read about, that how the difference between what is perceived and actually what is happening in terms of policy, and what is really possible to do now in terms of coming to the United States and having or staying outside of the United States and taking online classes, or coming here and taking hybrid and in-person classes. Please, Lee, the mic is yours.
Greetings, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the forum. My name is Lee Ryder, and I serve as Director of Immigration Compliance. And I'm going to take 5 minutes just to give a broad overview of what's happening in U.S. immigration right now. I, and along with all of the staff here at Western, are here still providing expert immigration advice to our international students and scholars and faculty now and always. So first of all, I would just like to assure everyone that some of these visa slowdowns right now, they're temporary. They're in response to COVID, and I just want to assure that regular consular operations will resume. We've already seen some posts start to reopen for a while now because of COVID. It's been on just an emergency basis only. But even there, it was at least positive to see some exceptions for national interest and emergency visas. Basically, policies in the U.S. are being reviewed periodically or every 60 days. So there will be things moving again, and we already see that happening now. So first of all, I'd like to just talk about what is happening now. We still have many students inside the U.S. We have almost 2,000 CVIS records, the majority which are for active students who some are studying in the U.S. and some have left to their home countries at this time. And at that time, they're still studying from abroad, and their CVIS records remain active. At this time, we're continuing all of our immigration support to our students, whether they're in the U.S. or outside the U.S. Many of these immigration benefits, they're still ongoing. So despite what you may hear in the news, or that new visa issuance is paused right now at most of the consulates, USCIS, the United States Immigration Service, is still continuing to process benefits. So we are actively helping our students get their OPT permits. We're actively helping our students get their CPT, basically their work authorization for practical training internships. We're still helping students who have been hired by Western, or whether they're with their own companies, changing from F1 in the United States to H1B. Those cases being processed within the United States are still happening and being adjudicated. So what are we doing through this time during COVID? We're still here, just virtual, like we are today. So we're providing service, but through this virtual format. And our staff are still available to assist through online meetings or WebEx or through Microsoft Teams to provide support in immigration processing of their requests through this format at this time. Also, many of our students who have returned home to be with their families, they're still studying full-time at Western through distance ed, and the students who are here at this time are on distance education through COVID until our fall reopening plan, September 2nd. We're anticipating a return to campus through a hybrid, online, and some in-person classes, a mix to provide some choices and flexibility. So also I'd like to highlight what you may have heard in the news. A lot of times immigration catches the headlines and touch upon what the reality is with some of these headlines. So there was a recent presidential proclamation in April, and there was a lot of confusion surrounding that, but I'd like to highlight that proclamation was about immigrant visas. And so it was it restricted new visas for immigrants for a very narrow subset of applicants, people who were outside the United States seeking permanent residency at the time of the proclamation. And it was a suspension of those visas for 60 days at that time. It did not apply to non-immigrants. It did not apply to students. It did not apply to J visa scholars. So I'd like to highlight that distinction. Then what happened is in the news, there was basically an extension of that, and it did also extend the restriction on immigrant visas, and it also extended it to H-1B work visas for people outside the U.S. But I'd like to draw the distinction that still it did not impact our international students. And even though it talked about some J categories, it did not impact any of our university categories for the J Student Exchange Visitor Program. It did not impact our J Visa Research or Professor programs either. So what we're doing is we're still able to sponsor for international faculty H-1Bs for people who are in the U.S., but right now, because of the COVID-related impacts, we're not able to sponsor an H-1B visa from someone outside the U.S. And this is in place until December 31st in response to COVID. So the good news is that student visas and J exchange visitor students are not impacted by this in response to COVID. Also, what we have on the PowerPoint, which I anticipate will be distributed to everyone after this webinar, or at least made available. We have regular updates through an outside law firm, Fragaman, and we have downloadable summaries. So those are a great resource for our students. But what we'd like to highlight right now is these restrictions on visas from highly impacted COVID countries that are in place with the 14-day entry ban. Right now, that's impacting China, Iran, some of the European countries, UK, Ireland, Brazil, but not Dominican Republic. So we're just waiting now for regular consular processing for visa services to reopen for Dominican Republic, but otherwise they're not impacted like on that same list for 14-day quarantine restrictions. And then I'd just like to highlight that there's been in the news, you've probably heard about the Harvard MIT versus Homeland Security lawsuit in response to the new fall guidance that Homeland Security announced. Basically, Homeland Security was trying to stop a lot of the online adaptations schools were allowing for students. And basically, there was so much controversy and lawsuit and backlash from the schools that Homeland Security basically withdrew that guidance. and went back to the original March guidance that schools were relying on. This was so recent that we're still waiting for a little more clarity on Homeland Security to speak right now. I mean, they've changed their website and it talks about the March guidance is available right now. And what does that say? Basically, in a nutshell, the March guidance basically allowed schools to update Homeland Security, that we have these temporary adaptations for our students in the United States. And because of a pandemic emergency, schools that are offering online classes can still keep those CVIS records active for these students because of health and safety. And they can exceed the limitation on online classes that normally apply to students because it's a pandemic. Homeland Security was trying to change that to say, well, in order to stay in the US, you cannot be all online. There was a lawsuit. Basically, Homeland Security withdrew their guidance. So we're kind of back to where we were with the March guidance. So for our students inside the US who've been here all along, they can be all online under the current guidance. For our students who were currently enrolled and then the pandemic hit and they went home to their home countries, we can still keep their CVIS records active while this is ongoing. And we're continuing to assist them. And if they return, they're still covered by these temporary adaptations. Where we're waiting for a little more clarity is, well, now that the fall guidance is withdrawn, what happens to new initial students? So we're expecting and anticipating some more clarity there, whether schools can just explain that, well, if they're allowed into the United States and they get their visa, can they also be on these temporary adaptations as well? So that's what we're waiting for, a little more clarity. We're hoping to get that this week, but schools are basically presuming that, well, where there's guidance that says so, if they get back into the United States, can they still maintain status with some hybrid as long as they're not completely online? So we're waiting to get more clarification on that answer and hope to be able to share that with you really soon, where this was so new. Fortunately, Western is a school that is offering a hybrid mode for fall, and that's what Homeland Security wanted to see all along. So, we rest assured that we're very much in line with what they expected to see with having some hybrid offerings for students. Also, I just want to highlight that this lawsuit and controversy was all about the F visa. In addition to that, we have an entirely different program that we can use for our partners with whom we have an exchange agreement, and it's called the J visa program. And so if there are any students here under the J visa program, that was not even impacted at all by any of the current litigation. And that program remains operating as it always has. So the J visa program is very flexible, and we remain completely operational and assisting our exchange visitor students who are under the cultural exchange type visa at our university. So that's basically it. Immigration in a nutshell. We stand ready to assist new students and our currently enrolled students wherever they are, here in the United States or abroad.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I can help answer any questions if there are any to follow.
I saw that a couple of questions came up and that were immediately replied because they had to do with more general questions, not specifically related to any of the dual degrees we're talking about here. But I don't know if there are any more questions or there are other questions that came up.
No, just the one.
And if there are any other comments that our guests or panelists would like to mention?
Perhaps just to add to the question regarding study abroad and students from other majors interested in spending a semester at WMU, that you can always reach our Dean of International Affairs. The email has been posted, Lorena Mail, and she can help you choose or design study abroad courses and make sure that those courses that you take at WMU will transfer to your current program. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're expanding the list of articulation and trying to put together some bridge programs. So you should keep looking at our websites and our social media to learn about new opportunities that will be coming soon.
And we'll have we'll have all the presentations available. So that's something. Although the presentations were on our stream or our live stream, but we'll make them available after the. Okay. Yeah. Diana, I think you wanted to mention something.
Yes, in the case of dual students, for example, make sure that you know that every time you go through a process with UNIBE and WMU, you're going to have a team of people supporting you in every single step of the way. In the same way, we walk with you towards you enter UNIBE, you go through your process of the 8 semesters for the business school at UNIBE, and then when you transfer, you will have the same support team at UNIBE and also at WMU that can work with you even in a personalized type of manner in order to make sure that you get the information that you need in order to make the best educated decision for you in an academic standpoint, but also when it comes to being an international student, like it was mentioned here. You know, we have students that they're supposed to be at WMU in fall 2020 at this point, and we're working with them in a very individual side in order to make sure that they have the information that they need in order to move forward, in order to make the best educated decision based on the situation that we're living today. So it doesn't really matter if we are within a situation like this or if we are in a regular situation. You will see the help from both parties, all the steps, in all the steps throughout your career and your dual degree program.
Thank you. Any comments from our side? Any final questions or comments? So I'd like to perhaps, just thank UNIBE, of course, and the team here from UNIBE today, but also everyone else at UNIBE who works regularly with Western Michigan. It's a larger team than the one you see here today, as well as with what happens with Western Michigan as well. But we wanted to bring a few panelists who obviously represent colleges that have strong interaction and long-standing interaction with UNIBE, not only through bringing students here, but as Dr. Deshpande mentioned, also sending study abroad, our students to study abroad at UNIBE. So I'd like to ask Dr. Odile Camilo if she would like to make some final remarks, and we're almost on our time here to finish the session. And before I hand it off to you to close, I'd like to again thank you for all your support to this partnership. This is definitely one of the key global partnerships for Western, and it's a very, very important partnership. And I truly feel I'm among friends every time I visit or every time I see you virtually through through WebEx. Thank you.
Just to thank you again, the panelists, but also remind our students, their families, and all of your friends at Western Michigan to please be safe, take care of yourself, follow policies, and remember that we'll go through this together. We're very, very confident that we'll be stronger institutions, stronger individuals by the end of this pandemic, and we really want you to be safe, to stay healthy, and to make sure that you do know that at our universities you always have a space for growth. So thank you for joining us today. We'll have other sessions like this in the future, in the near future. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.